I'm going to share with you the pros and cons of investing in a 401k, as well as the 3 normal paths for retirement and why I choose not to invest in my company's 401k. Let's first go over the 6 pros of investing in 401k and why you might consider this. Number 1, company match options do exist and are available for a lot of employees out there. My company offers a 5% match, which means for every dollar that I put into my 401k, the company will match up to 5% of my salary. Number 2, you can consider this as free money. If you are putting in money into the 401k and the company is matching, then that is money that is given to you that was unexpected and therefore can be considered free money. Number 3, growth is absolutely incredible over a long period of time. Given what happens to investments over a long stretch of time, and in this example in the charts that I'll provide, we're using 30 years, you can see the growth is significantly higher than if you were to just put it in a bank. So the example that I provide is a young investor at 30 years old putting money into a 401k that is matched 100% up to 5% of the salary of 40k. Now I use 40k because that's kind of the lower end of middle class, and I used it as a good example that even those who aren't making a lot of money can actually earn a lot of money over a 30-year stretch. So I did starting at 30 years old up until 65 years of age, which is what is considered normal retirement age. If they put in $2,000 a year, which is 5% of the salary, and that they have a 5% company match, so therefore they're putting in $2,000 a year and the company is matching $2,000 a year. So over 35 years, age 30 to 65, they will have 35 years of investing, so that's $70,000 invested from themselves and $70,000 invested by the company. So with this example, you can see $70,000 invested out of your own pocket over 35 years is pretty reasonable. And that is not including salary increases or anything like that. It's also a 7% return, which I think is a fair number to use. But you can see that over time, you're going to have $583,000 or so, maybe even upwards of $600,000 or $700,000 by the time you look to retire, and that's with only putting in $70,000 of your own money. So you can see that the growth is quite large over a long period of time, and this is probably the biggest reason why people consider 401k to be a great investment. Number 4, as far as investment vehicles, a 401k is considered relatively safe. You get really good returns, pretty safe investment risk. Definitely not the riskiest and definitely not the safest. However, it is expected that you will receive a pretty average return, which is considered anywhere from 5 to 9%. Number 5, for those of you who really value your time and energy spent on other things outside of investing, a 401k is relatively really low on the scale of how much time and energy is required of you. And number 6, for those of you fellow real estate investors out there, your 401k can be counted as reserves whenever you're going to get a loan. So it's nice to have, if you have 10 to 20,000 in reserves, that typically can qualify you for the loans you're looking to get, and you don't need that much in cash to be considered to have an adequate supply of reserves. It wouldn't be fair to talk about the pros without the cons of investing in a 401k. So I'm going to give you real quick 5 things to consider on why you might want to not invest in a 401k. Starting with number 1, simply put, you cannot touch your money until you hit 59.5 years of age without penalty. So that is money that is put aside, it's illiquid, you can't touch it until a certain age. Number 2, a 401k does not put food on your table, nor does it help in an emergency. Number 3, this strategy of investing does not align with someone who is looking to retire at a different age than the normal 60 to 65. This being the retire early crowd, which I feel like I'm a part of that community, looking to retire early, so therefore, 401k might not align with your specific retirement goals. Number 4, given that you have a solid and stable return of anywhere from 5 to 9% or so, you will have a hard time building wealth with a 401k. Now, I understand that a lot of people do build wealth with a 401k, but that's with a high salary and a high input into their 401k investment strategy. What I'm referring to is someone who is maybe lower middle class or middle class. It is very hard within a 8 to 15 year stretch to really get wealthy enough to change a generation. That's what I'm referring to. I refer to this as a con simply because I'm after significant amounts of wealth, and so are those who I surround myself with. And a 401k unfortunately will not get you there in the short term. Certainly over a super long period of 30 to 40 years, you can attain a lot of wealth with a 401k, but not in the short to medium term. And lastly, number 5, The sad reality of life is that a lot of people actually don't reach 59 and a half years of age. So you might be putting money into an investment strategy that you don't touch, nor do you benefit in the short term, and you may never if you don't make it to 59 and a half years of age. Now, certainly I think it's good to invest with the hopes and expectation that you live that long, but it is a downside that maybe you could greatly increase your current lifestyle and your current life and maybe solve current problems like short-term debt instead of investing in a 401k. And for those who don't, sadly, do not make it until 59 and a half, that is the downside of investing in a 401k. All right, we'll quickly go through the 3 normal paths for retirement. Starting with number 1, you're just gonna have, this is the normal path for retirement. This is the someone who's reasonably savvy, understand what it takes to retire. They're gonna, go out and buy a house that they can barely afford. They have a job that they're gonna stay in for 30 years. They input some money into their company 401k over time, and maybe they put some money in the stock market. There's obviously a spectrum of this. There's a wider, you have some people who are really savvy and really know what they're doing, and then you have some people who are just told a 401k by your company, invest in that a little bit and you'll have your retirement goals met when you're 65, sometime in the near future. That can happen. However, this is a normal strategy, and there's nothing wrong with it. But in this strategy, you're generally going to get locked into a job. You're going to have a lot of debt with a house you can barely afford, and you're putting a lot of money into a retirement fund, and that's obviously decreasing the amount of money you have today. The goal of this strategy is to essentially have a lot of money invested over a 30-year stretch. You're going to have your house paid off. You're going to receive maybe Social Security, and you're also going to have different investment vehicles like the stock market or a 401k, such that whenever you're 65 to 70 years old and you're looking to retire by normal society standards for retirement, that's when all of this money will be available to you and you'll be able to officially retire. The number 2 path to retirement is those who do not have any plans. Now, this is very sad, and for whatever reason, this is a person that does not look into retirement, nor do they care about retirement at the current time. Now, I bring this up because this is a strategy of some. They don't even consider retirement 30 years down the road. This leads me to number 3, the community known as the FIRE community. These are the financially independent, retire early folks. This is a community that I'm a part of, and I'm absolutely doing my best to retire early. Now, retire early could mean anything to everyone. Generally, 60 to 70 is the average retirement age, so these folks are looking to do it earlier. Now, some people want to be extreme and are looking to retire by 32, some people by 45, whatever. Everyone's life is different, and their situation and circumstances are different. For me, personally, I'm looking to retire by 35 at the absolute latest, so therefore, my retirement strategies are going to be far different than most. With the philosophy of retiring early, with my goal being to retire at 35, you can see that investing in a company 401k does not align with my goals. Sure, I may be missing out on what people call free money because I'm not putting money into the 401k which is matched by my company. At my current salary, I'm missing like maybe $2,500 a year from this free money. The issue is the opportunity cost is far greater. I found a good investment strategy in real estate which gives me much higher returns than any type of stock market, 401k, mutual fund, whatever. So the opportunity cost of the $2,500 that I'm missing of free money is not worth it compared to the returns I'm getting elsewhere. So I have a much better use of my money elsewhere with much higher returns, and which lead to a much better today. For real estate investors who are pretty savvy and know what they're doing, they would argue that the actual rate of return over time in real estate is anywhere from 20 to 50%. And if you're a flipper, a successful flipper, certainly there's more risks involved, but there are certain strategies within real estate. If you're always finding good deals and you really know what you're doing, the actual return is going to be far greater than any type of good return that can be seen in a 401k plan. And this is my goal moving forward. In the year or two that I've had real estate investing, I've certainly seen a significantly greater rate of return. We're talking 10x what I could get in my 401k, and I'm going to continue doing this into the future. If you look at someone's strategy who's into real estate, if you look at the game plan that I have set for myself over the next, I'm going to say 7 years because I use 35 as my target retirement date. My plan is to own anywhere from 50 to 200, 500,000 units, however many I get to. But essentially, if you look at age 35, let's say I have acquired 50 units. If I have a 30-year note or less on all of these units, by the time I've reached normal retirement age of 60 to 70, I'm going to have all of the units paid off. So let me back up just to make sure it's clear. At some point, I will attain a lot of units. And starting on, let's just pick a random date at 35 years old, which will be 2025. Starting at that date moving forward, I'm going to be 35 years old and I'm going to have less than 30 years on all of the notes in my real estate portfolio. So therefore, 30 years into the future, I'm going to have all of these units paid off completely. There's going to be no mortgage. So I'm going to be receiving income and have very few expenses. So if you want to look at my retirement strategy versus the normal strategy of retiring between 60 and 70, then by the time I hit that age, I'm going to have my retirement set at 35, because by the time I'm in that normal 65-year-old range of retiring, I'm going to have a significant real estate portfolio that has tenants paying every month that will be providing me with a huge cash flow. If you think, even if I can only get to 50 units at $500 a month in rent, what is that, like 25 grand in income every single month for the rest of my life? That's significantly more than I can get from the returns in a 401k. The goal of this video was to answer why I don't invest in a company 401k. The real answer is this: because it does not align with my retirement strategy. I absolutely want to retire by 35 and think I can do it in the next 7 years. And investing in a company 401k just doesn't make sense given the timeline. I can't touch the money for 30 years. I really enjoy investing in real estate, as I think that is a significantly better investing strategy. For me personally, it aligns with my interests, my goals, my talents, if you will. So that is why I don't invest in a company 401k. I think I can do much better in real estate. It's going to provide cash flow today, which for me is significantly more important than money in the future. I want money today. I don't know if I'll live until 59 and a half. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I want cash flow today so I can leave my job and I can live the lifestyle that I'm looking forward to living. And the biggest thing, I have access to that money. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was a really helpful video. It was a little more simple for those folks who have looked into the FIRE community and understand retiring. However, for those of you who are stuck into the dogma of investing in a company 401k because it's the best strategy for everyone, just understand there's other viewpoints. And I really hope that this video helped share some of those viewpoints and maybe helped you see the world in a different way. So thanks so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment if you agree or disagree. Go ahead and let me know if there's any flaws in my arguments. You can go ahead and start an argument with me. I'd love to hear your side. Thanks again.